Hi everyone, in this video I want to take a quick look at some of the books on my bookshelf. So I have hundreds of books, and in this video we're just going to go over some of them briefly. So this is the top row of one of my bookshelves, and I think these are all math books. I actually haven't looked. I decided just to make this video so we can look together. So this one here is an advanced calculus book. This is a book by Taylor and Mann. I bought this book for a course, an undergraduate course on advanced calculus, and I ended up not using the book. So I had this book that I spent all this money on that I didn't use for the course. I did end up using the book as a reference. It's a pretty good advanced calculus book. I don't think I've done a book review on it yet, but maybe I will later. This next book is a book on complex variables. I used this book for a graduate class in complex variables when I was a graduate student. This is a pretty hardcore book. So it's Complex Variables, Introduction and Applications, and it's by Ablowitz and Focus. So definitely not a beginner book. So let me just put this back. This next book is a book I got at an estate sale. It's a book on quantum mechanics, and this book in particular has an emphasis on chemistry. I've only glanced at this book. I have not read it. I'm pretty sure it's a book from the 30s. It's Introduction to Quantum Mechanics by Pauling and Wilson. Next to that, we have a Dover book. This is a great book on discrete math. It's Introductory Discrete Mathematics by Balakrishnan. It's a pretty good book, and it's extremely inexpensive because it's a Dover book. Okay, so this next book is one of the first higher level math books I ever purchased. It's Applied Complex Variables by Detman. And I remember reading this book when I was at the dentist. I was sitting at the dentist, and I think I was going to get a tooth pulled. And I sat down, and I brought this book with me, and I read it, and I actually understood some of it. And I should mention that I read this book before taking any proof-based classes, so I was able to read several pages and actually learn from this book without knowing any higher level math. And it's Applied Complex Variables by Detman. This next book is an amazing book. This is probably like the most popular graduate level abstract algebra book in the US. It's Abstract Algebra by Dummett and Foote. I did a review on this book before. This is an awesome book for beginners and for experts. It is probably the best graduate reference on abstract algebra. It doesn't have as much information as Lang's book does, but it has a lot of examples and tons of exercises, and it's an excellent book to learn from. I bought this copy used on Amazon, and I should have gotten a new copy. The binding is off on this copy. That's my biggest regret with this book. So if you buy this book, make sure you get a copy that's in good condition. This next book is a discrete math book by Rosen. I'm pretty sure I used this for a course on discrete math as an undergraduate. It's an okay book. Let me show you the cover. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's pretty good. It's just a discrete math book. It's a standard text used all over the world. This one here I got for a few dollars. It's another book on discrete math. I think this is a little bit easier to read than the Rosen book. It's Discrete Mathematical Structures, and it's by Coleman, Busby, and Ross. So a little bit better than the Rosen book if you're looking for like an introductory text. Okay, so what's next? So this is Introduction to the Theory of Sets, and this is an okay book on set theory. It's a very introductory book. Perhaps I'll do a review on it at some point in the future, but it's very, very, very introductory. This next book is kind of an oddball book. Again, I didn't really plan this video, so it's just whatever's on this row of the bookshelf. This is a solutions manual to a mathematical statistics book that I used as an undergraduate. It's the solutions manual to mathematical statistics with applications, the 6th edition. I believe this only has the odd solutions, but it's still like priceless. It's really helpful to have solutions. This next book here I picked up at an estate sale. This book is actually rare. I think this is actually worth money. It's called Engineer's Handbook, and it's a little book. It says includes information on math, building, mechanics, heat, hydraulics, pipes, electricity, surveying, costs, mining, chemistry, and it has 47 tables. So it's a little book, and I guess back in the day, engineers would like put this in their, little shirt pockets. So yeah, it's got a lot of like little, let me see if I can open it so you see it. Yeah, it's got little diagrams and stuff. I could smell it from here. I wish you could smell it with me. This next book, I don't know if you can see it. It's written by Sawyer. It's called A Concrete Approach to Abstract Algebra. This is a decent book on abstract algebra. And again, it's for beginners, and I probably should do a review on it at some point in the future. This was actually given to me by someone I used to work with, so this was a gift. These next books here are really, really good. There's 3 of them. Let me pull each one out individually. This first one is book 5, and it's called Algebra Through Practice, and it's on groups. So it actually has solved problems on groups. The next one is on metric and vector spaces. It's book 2. And the next one is on rings, fields, and modules. So if you go on the internet and you search for Algebra Through Practice, you might be able to find these books. They're kind of hard to find, and they have solutions. They're full worked out proofs to higher level math problems. So really, really quite interesting. This next book is a book on the calculus of vector functions. It's written by Williamson, Crowell, and Trotter. It's got a really nice old school cover. And this is basically just a calculus book. It's a little more advanced than the calculus books you would see today, so it's a pretty good treatment of higher level calculus. Here we have a book on complex analysis, and I can't read the name, I can't say it rather, it's Sonneson and Green. It's Elements of Complex Analysis. This is a higher level book on complex analysis. This is actually a really good book. I actually bought this a long time ago because I was trying to find complex analysis books, and I went on the internet and I told myself, okay, if it's less than $5, I'm gonna buy it. So I ended up buying this one, and I think it's graduate level. It's got some really cool stuff. I mean, it's got topology in it. It's pretty hardcore. It's certainly not a beginner book, but it's very, very readable. Again, it's Elements of Complex Analysis by Sonneson and Green. And it continues. So here we have a book on measure theory, Introduction to Methods of Real Analysis. So this is measure theory. This is not advanced calculus. This is graduate level real analysis, and it's written by Maurice Sion. This is an excellent book. It's a little known book, perhaps. Again, I should do a review on this soon. I'm going to try to start adding more book reviews very, very soon. This next book was a gift from someone I used to work with. It's Mathematics for Elementary School Teachers. This is an older book on, I guess, what's called today like finite math or math for elementary school teachers. So it's a little bit harder than the books used today. And it talks about like, fractions and numbers, divisibility, all the stuff you would typically see in a mathematics for elementary school teacher class. So it is a beginner book. It is not a proof-based book. This is a great book. This is Advanced Calculus by Buck. This is the older edition. I've done a review on this book, and I'll try to remember to put links in the description. This is a great advanced calculus book. Again, it's the book by Buck. Here's a book that I bought because it had a very gimmicky title. It's All the Mathematics You Need, or you missed, and that you need for graduate school. This is a nice book to read and realize all of the math that you don't know. So when you buy this book, if you buy it and you look inside it, you will realize that you don't know all of this. Do you need to know all of this for graduate school? No. Did I know all of it? No, definitely not. But if you knew it all, you'd probably do pretty well. So it's an interesting book to look at because it has a lot of topics. It talks about all the major math topics, and it's all in one book. This next book is a complex variables book. It's an older one. Functions of a Complex Variable by Townsend. This is very similar to like the Brown book. I should do a review on this again at some point in the future. A really old looking book. This is one of my favorite advanced calculus books. This is Advanced Calculus by Fitzpatrick. I used this course when I took Advanced Calculus 1, so this book has a special place for me. It's a great book. I like it better now than I did when I took the course. I've done a review on this book, and again, I'll try to leave a link in the description. This is probably one of the easier to read advanced calculus books. Here we reach a classic, Baby Rudin, Principles of Mathematical Analysis. This is Baby Rudin, classic book. Again, I've done a review on this one. It's a hard read, it's a tough read, but it's worth owning, especially if you can get it for just a few dollars. I have here another copy of Advanced Calculus by Buck. So, yep, another copy of that. This here is actually a rare solutions manual to the Buck book. I don't even know if you can buy this anymore. This is super, super rare. I think if I should do a review on this at some point, but actually let's look at it now. So this is the solutions manual to the Buck book. You see that it has handwritten solutions. That's how old school this is. I'm pretty sure this is really rare. I actually forgot where I got this, but very, very rare. It has proof sketches or hints to every single problem in the book. This next book, you can't actually read the title, so let's pull it off the shelf and take a look. So this is the inside cover of this book. This guy here, Cosmo, signed the book. And, you know, I looked him up once, and he worked for the Department of Defense. Yeah, this guy worked for the government. He had some, I don't know what he did, but he had some high position. I'm pretty sure he was some type of director at the Department of Defense. So this was his math book when he took the class many, many years ago. And this book is old. Let's take a look further inside it. This is a Bourbaki book. This is written by Henry Cartan. He was a member of Bourbaki, University of Paris. And this is the English translation. So this book was originally written in French. I've done a review on this book. This is a super hardcore book. It's complex variables, but like really hardcore. You can see here the beginning of the book starts by assuming that you know what fields are. It says, let K be a commutative field. So, I mean, today fields are assumed to be commutative, so this is really, really old school. Let's go ahead and go back and keep looking at the bookshelf. And these last two books are very famous books. These are the Lectures in Abstract Algebra by Jacobson. This is the same Jacobson after which the Jacobson radical is named. So it's the same guy. So this is the guy who it's named after, and this is the book that he wrote. So there's two parts. There's basic concepts, and then there's linear algebra. I don't know if there's a third book. I think there is. I've done reviews on these books, so I will look and try to put a link in the description. So that's it. That's the first row of the bookshelf. So make sure to subscribe, like, and if you really want to help out, become a member. Every time you become a member, you help support the Math Sorcerer. Until next time, take care.